Okay, so today you should be able to do it by hand, I think, and there's no bit in it. We've decided with a nice tailwind we're going to fly our asymmetric for the very first time. So we've set off, and with the wind the way it is, we've decided we should try using our brand new asymmetric spinnaker for the first time. I'm not sure we've got the lines just absolutely perfect, but nonetheless it's going to work for the minute. Until we're sailing to the setting sun for the first time. The Mercedes is up and running, pushing us along nicely at 6 plus knots. Very comfortable ride currently. Unfortunately it's not really in the right direction, so we might have to change sails at some time in the not too distant future. Yeah, not bad at all, not bad. Or perhaps I should say, not so bad, not so bad.
Hi guys, we wanted to introduce you to our first hitchhiker on our brand new asymmetric
I think
spinnaker.
he wants one of these roller coaster rides.
He's actually been there a while and enjoying the ride. Look at him. I'm getting closer, but he's enjoying. Free of charge. Yeah, celebrity. Absolutely enjoying the ride. On the brand new asymmetric spinnaker. Merrily having a good time. Balancing up with the wind, down with the wind, up with the wind, down with the wind. Wow, amazing. We are very pleased to have our first hitchhiker on our journey on the 27th of October 2021. Keep your balance, boy, keep your balance.
Good morning, Commodore. Our first morning on the sea. What's happening now?
Good morning. I had a lovely experience of our first day of sunrise on our first journey to sail. So that was amazing. And during the night we had, well, starting from yesterday afternoon, we had some visitors. The little birdie came to sit on the Mercedes-Benz Rolly Tasker rope. So a little bit of entertainment there. And then later, as the evening went by, we also had a family of dolphins keeping us entertained and surrounding our boat, chirping and dancing, correct? And they looked so beautiful at night.
Yes, unfortunately it was so dark we couldn't really video it.
Could not video, yeah. They were not happy with the light. So
yeah,
that was
shone
some
a torch
highlight.
on them to try and so we could use it as a
Yeah, they
spotlight.
don't. They don't.
They
like
shot away
it.
as soon as we did that. But they came back after I switched the torch off.
Yes, and now we've got Mr. Rolly Tasker flying beautifully. Very beautiful baby.
There he is.
Yep.
Mr. Mercedes.
Mr. Mercedes, as Billy calls him.
Rapidly becoming our favourite sail.
Yes.
And as far as I can see, there's not a single soul on the ocean.
Privately flat for the walnut.
No one at all. We have a rain shower over there we'll have to keep our eye on. But the wind's going that way, so that should be okay. Over and out for just now. Good morning everybody. It's me again. Just a few minutes ago we got Mr. Mercedes up, and now we've got a lovely rainbow, which I hope you can see from the few spots of rain that we've got falling. The sun is shining. It's a nice morning. The wind's a little bit on the weak side, which is annoying. Only 6 knots. And from that angle, the apparent wind, oh well, that is the apparent wind, sorry. Only 6 knots. which is enough to fill the spinnaker, but it's not really enough to fill the mainsail. And I'll maybe put a bit more effort into the mainsail now. So, as I say, nice rainbow to wake up to on day 1 or morning 1, day 2, morning 1. Hey, good afternoon, guys. It's now what day is it? It's Thursday. It's just our second date, and for the first time we've got some decent wind. It's not quite in the right direction. As you can see, we're heading away from the waypoint, which I've got in there, which is basically the top end of Sumatra, still 130 miles away, so a long way away. And we're whizzing along at a nice 7.5, 8 knots out of this 12 or so, which is very nice. And other than that, it's been a very nice sail. Last night was difficult with the constant changing of wind direction and strength. Very difficult, and it was pitch black, so setting the sails was really quite an exercise. But anyway, we got through that, and we'll be sailing all day today, and not in such nice winds as this. Over and out. Good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday, no it's not, it's Friday the 29th, and this is our third day at sea, our second morning if you like, actually at sea. And we've had a very good night, no issues at all, the wind has been good, just this morning it swung around a little bit. We're approaching the top end of Sumatra here, Banda is here. And the Nicobar Islands are here. We're just heading between them, and the wind's holding it a little less than 10 knots, and we're doing 5.5 knots out of that, which is very nice. The depth meter isn't 4.5 meters. Flashing depth means that it's not valid signal. Nothing much to report apart from we had dolphins last night again for about an hour, and they were fishing. It was amazing. Watching them fish, and the nav light up the front was lighting up the fish as they jumped out to sea and so on. Some of them were flying fish, some of them were also forced into the air rather than really being flying fish. So it was a fascinating display to watch. I've just downloaded the weather, and it's a bit complicated. It seems like we're sailing into an area of no wind. The forecast has changed completely from Wednesday morning when we left until today. So that's a little bit awkward, not to put too fine a point on it. I'm just trying to work out where to go after we pass our waypoint, which is 65 miles ahead. 65 miles of course doesn't sound very much, but that's going to take us 12 hours. It's 5 12 so 60. So yeah, 12 13 hours. So that's the report from day morning 2 of the sail, from the good ship, not so bad. Okay, so we've just had a chat with Bazzy Star. Oops, how did I do that? Bazzy Star, which is the cargo ship you can see there, crossing from left to right. Closest point of arrival now, of approach rather, is 1.9 miles, just under 2 miles in 9 minutes. It was saying half a mile, so I was asking for a bit more space, but it seems that it's going to be okay. The trouble is, these cargo ships are not terribly manoeuvrable, and in these conditions our speed and also heading on track changes quite markedly. So the closest point of approach is changing constantly, so just keep an eye on that. Sailing continues. The wind seems to be abating a little bit. It was holding around 20 knots earlier. It's dropped back now to 15 knots or so. And, pretty rough seas, very, very confused. We're rocking and rolling in every way. But there we go. It's a nice day. The sun's out today for a change. It didn't come out at all yesterday. So, no idea. It looks like a tin can to me. I don't know. The tanker is nowhere near us, honey. The tanker is nowhere near us. Another AIS target. Says it's an SAR, search and rescue aircraft. Search and rescue aircraft with AIS as well. It's interesting. Speed over the ground 184 knots. Well, it's probably not a ship then. Hi guys, with all the rain showers and squalls around, we've reefed the mainsail early and also the Jenny just as a precaution. We're still getting over 6 knots, so that's absolutely fine. And that's out of 8, 9, 10 knots true. We've got a target over here. Probably looks tiny to you, it looks huge from here. I've got him locked up on the radar, which is quite wacky. I've never had a radar that did things like this before. And it's with 3 minutes and 20 seconds or so to the closest point of approach. If we go back to looking at the AIS on the chart, zoom in a bit to see him. Okay, whoops, too much. There we go. It's got him lit up with the radar as well. And accidentally pressed the button, stopped the video there. But if we go to interesting, when he comes up as a radar target now anyway, he's doing 19.8 knots. 19.8 knots. A thing that size doing 19 knots. How much does it cost to force that through the sea at that speed? It's amazing. Amazing. Closest point to arrival was just over a mile. So the AIS has been leaking at me for some time. That's a big ship. Get in the way of him doing 18 knots. Your eyes water. That's good. A good ship, not so bad. Doing 6 knots or so, as I say. we're all happy. Sandra's gone for a rest. I'm not sure how well this is going to come out, guys, but if you can see these two lights, this is the front and the back end of a ship. It seems enormous, at least 200 metres, 150, 180 metres. And he's not on AIS. We've got very, very little wind just now, and I've just spent the last 45 minutes trying to make this little bathed up sail. And then I looked round and I saw these lights, and I thought, that's funny. Another look at the AIS, nothing on there. And then a couple of minutes later, I realised he was coming up alongside us. I would think it's about half a mile away. Quite hard to tell. Nonetheless, a little bit disturbing in this day and age. A big bathtub like that can be wandering around without any AIS. You have to keep a good lookout even in this day and age. Good morning, everybody. It's the morning of day 6. It's a very pleasant day in the Indian Ocean. If anything, there's too little wind, but we've got a bit more than we had before. We were struggling a bit, but now we're 8, 9, occasionally 10 knots. Unfortunately, last night the wind died away to 0, and as it did so, our true windometer, when you're at the top, you can see, went to blanks, 3 blanks, and that's very unfortunate. I tried resetting the computer, it didn't do anything, so I suspect it's some sort of connection somewhere, I don't know. But the problem is that we can no longer use this wind vane thing, so we are sailing relative to our heading, which is okay as long as the wind stays constant, but as soon as the wind moves, then you have to think about adjusting the sails or adjusting the heading. So I think it's going to be a bit more hard work for us, particularly for Sandra, who's not used to this sort of thing. But nonetheless, we're just coming up on 400 miles according to the tripometer. No, I can't get my head round to this because the average speed it says is 4.8 knots. If you can see that there, 4.8 knots. And if that is the average speed for the trip, which is what I understand it to be, then that doesn't add up. We should have done hundreds of extra miles, which we haven't done, which I need to work out what it is. But anyway, it's a nice day here in the Indian Ocean. The sun is shining, making some solar power, which is good. Sandra had a long shift last night while I slept. Well, we were motoring, and I needed that. I was tired. It's still the morning of the 1st of November, day 6. And still not enough wind to sail. It's just a very pleasant sail. Not enough to cover any great distance, but enough to keep the sails from flapping too much. Enough to keep us moving forward at a reasonable pace. Told that the size of the seas never come out well on the videos, and at least I wouldn't say these seas are big, but it's a noticeable swell. Well, there are 1 or 2 other wave patterns mixed up in it, but the basic one is a big, long, easy, smooth swell. Nice to sail in. Now we've escaped the shipping lane. We're not seeing anything at all. Nothing at all. Chinese laundry now. Having been able to sail before, we're not sailing now. It's a flat, glassy sea. And to add insult to injury, I've got one last cargo ship passing us by. We lost a lure yesterday. Our first one, I don't think it was bitten off, I think it was metal fatigue, the leader that I had made. I think it liked being towed at 9 knots for hour after hour, like 7 or 8 knots. our 8th day at sea, and Sandra woke me this morning at 7 o'clock to tell me there was wind. So I got up and sure enough there is. And it's been like this all day. The trouble is the wind's up and down a bit. So we've had the reef in, reef out, reef in, reef out. Currently we've got it out at the moment. And really it means that we should have it in. But the wind cannot really make up its mind. We're whizzing along, not quite in the right direction, I have to say. The cargo ship just appeared from nowhere. I hadn't seen before. So it says about it. It's a fishing vessel. Where is he? So he's about 6 miles out of the way, so I can see him behind the sails, so I have to keep an eye on him. Good sailing, but if he is towing, he shouldn't get he is right away over us. But as I say, the wind's up and down, but the proverbial lowest drawers. 1 minute it's 13, 14 knots, the next minute it's 18, 19 knots. I don't mind if that's the limit of its travel, but people with any further than that, it's a little bit. Continues. The wind's maintaining its strength, if not more, and we're whizzing along. It's a very rough ride though. It seems to be easy a bit. This is interesting. Make life easier for us. We're trying to get down to this point here roughly. I'm just in the process of downloading the latest weather to see what happens now. But we're whizzing along nicely. We've been doing 6-7 knots pretty much all day. Every now and again we hit a wave hard and that knocks a knot off it. It won't happen not always. We've got a reef in the mainsail. You see that? Yeah. Doesn't go all the way to the top anymore. And we've got a reef and a half in the jenny. I always put in about 2 reefs in the jenny, because the cleat thing that catches the furler almost slips a bit, and some of it goes back out again. So to avoid that I over reef it, and then today it more or less caught, so we've got a reef and a half in again. And now suddenly we're going straight to our waypoint. We were at almost 90 degrees to it earlier, and now we're going pretty much straight to it, which is nice. The yacht flies quite well in these conditions, except for the wave conditions. If we get a sort of flattish bit, it will just whiz up to 7 knots. But hanging into these waves like this just stops it, and it's pretty bumpy. 5.6. Wow. Just stopped us dead. Yeah, so I think it's going to be a rough old night, whatever, but we'll just have to put up with it. That's what it is. We're flying now, 9 knots. just run away from that bit, I think. And then let's pass up, we find. Still managing 6.5, sorry, 7.5, almost 8 knots with both east and 20 knots of wind. It's an gnarly season, uncomfortable, really uncomfortable. Commodore, good morning. You're a bit overdressed for the tropics, aren't you?
Absolutely, yes. There's a bit of wind, a bit of rain, a bit of everything. So, change of temperature, no worries.
So what's happening?
Oh yeah, we're getting closer to the equator. But this
Show me,
is
where's that then? Show me.
exactly there. And that's an historic moment for both of us. And we do a countdown, right?
Yeah. It's a pretty wild and windy night. 20 odd knots, let's be up to 30. So we're pretty well reefed in now. Still doing 5.5, 6 knots. As we count down to the equator. Here we go. No longer in the northern hemisphere. We of course have to make our offering to Poseidon. 3, 2, 1, boom!
Boom! Yeah!
In the southern
Not so
hemisphere.
bad in the southern hemisphere. Kudos to both of us, to my Captain John, all the credit. Sandra just helps now and again.
Yes, we'll have to pay our respects to Poseidon, as I was saying, but I think we'll leave that for,
Another day.
yes, when the weather's a little bit better. This is how it's finished up. We're on a buoy, and I don't think this one's going to drag up big.